Now, I've been a fan of Rose Namajunas for a long time. Okay, back some fights ago when and really honestly, it was when I heard that she was from Milwaukee, because that's where I'm originally from. Right, so I heard about that, gave her an extra look, thought that was thought it was kind of cool. Started to watch her, and I really liked her style. Liked her in interviews and stuff like that. Seems very genuine, real person, legit. I just liked her, just like you would any other random fighter, right? Then she comes out and she scorches Joanna, right, with that early knockout, bang. I'm like, whoa, wins the belt. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Great story. Then she comes out, beats her soundly in a 5-round decision, right? Erases all doubt that there was any kind of luck, that there was anything, special or just a random freak occurrence that she got that knockout in the first one. And really, truly established herself in the eyes of everyone as the top of that division. There was no luck about it. It was nothing. She beat Joanna fair and square, legit. Knocked her out once, beat her soundly in the decision. She's the top dog, right? Okay. So then she gets this fight against Jessica Andrade, which was her last fight at this point. And she comes out, and I mean, she could not have looked better. She was on fire. Man, her timing, her movement, her control of distance, coming in and out, speed, combination punching. She was piecing her up just to no end, right? I mean, she looked absolutely phenomenal in the way that she fought that first round and going into the second. Then she gets caught with that. Then she gets caught with that slam. Gets slammed right on her neck, KO'd. Fight stopped. Game over. Okay, so you think about it, you're like, oh man, like that was crazy. She was going for it, but like anything, even if it was like a 1-punch KO that comes out of nowhere or something like that, like things happen, right? Not unheard of by any stretch of the imagination in fighting. But what was interesting, what really stood out was what came next, and that was in the post-fight interview. Not the post-fight interview. She was in the octagon, and she said something, not exact quote, but something to the effect of, well, it's a lot of pressure off my shoulders now. And I was like, whoa, I stopped for a second. I thought, that's not good. That's not good. A fighter has the belt, takes a big loss like that, and talks about, well, now it's a lot of pressure off my shoulders. And honestly, the first thing I thought about, even though it was slightly different, but the first thing I thought about was when Anderson Silva lost the belt to Chris Weidman. When he was clowning in that first fight and he got knocked out. And I thought, man, that's interesting. And then she comes out in the actual post-fight press conference. She talks about, starts saying things to the effect of, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. People are like, what do you mean? Are you going to retire? I don't know. I'm not sure that this is where I see myself going. I'm not sure that this is what I want to do with my life. So I started to think about it. It's like, you're dealing with someone who's at a crossroads here. Right? You see it a lot with fighters. The most recent one that I can think of that was a big namer was Rory McDonald over in Bellator, right? But it happens to a lot of fighters. They hit a point in their career and they're just not sure. I mean, that they want to go forward with it. It's such a grind. It's violent. It's difficult. You start to think about your own health. You start to think about other people and whether you want to continue to get paid, punch them in the face and stuff. Like, it's like it's kind of a crazy thing. Anyways, she was in this spot. She was in this weird spot, and I guarantee you, on top of all that, it was no surprise that it happened, and that came once she won the belt. Okay, when you hold the belt like that, the amount of media attention that you gets ratcheted up like tenfold compared to anything else. Okay, there's always people knocking on your door trying to get an interview. There's always people trying to contact you, trying to stop by the gym. The UFC is part of your contract, throws a bunch of media obligations at you that you absolutely have to do to help promote the fight so that they're making money off of it and things like that. So it's like everything just gets cranked up. Your training camp, she's probably got coaches that she's dealing with who are talking about, oh, you got to do this, you got to watch for this, you got to be on your game, everybody's coming for you now. You know what I mean? And it was just all this pressure, just, you know what I mean? And it just ratcheted everything up. And I think it was just too big. I think the moment was a little bit too big for her. And I don't mean that in any kind of negative way or anything like that, but I think the moment was just a little bit too big. The pressure got to her, and it felt good because she knew instantly that she was now going to be able to step back because she no longer had that belt. She got that loss. And it's really telling. It's really telling. So one, I was very intrigued when I saw that this fight was booked. Not only did she come back, and it hasn't been that long, but she comes back immediately in the rematch. She comes back immediately to the girl that she just fought, and that says a couple things to me, because I don't think that the UFC would have forced this, right? I think that Rose pretty much would have had to agree to it. She was open to it. If this would have been offered, I think she could have refused it and got another fight. So she takes this, and one of the other things she said in that post-fight press conference, she said, "I know I can beat her. It's just on whether or not I want to." And I believe 100% that she believes that and that she knows that. She was absolutely crushing Jessica Andrade before that slam. The entire time, she didn't lose a second. She didn't lose anything, but she didn't lose anything going into that. That's how beastie she was, man. Oh, she looked so sharp. Oh, she looked good. Anyways. But here's my point. She took the fight because she wants to redeem herself. My guess is she's in a lot better space now. And being in the correct headspace as a fighter, it couldn't be more important. It could not be more important. 85-90% of fighting is mental, right? It's about preparing yourself mentally for the fight, doing the things you need to do beforehand, all of that. Yeah, true, but it's about being able to handle yourself in the space and in the moment. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times I was in the gym and I would see guys who would be absolute monsters working out. Dude, you would think they were world champions, like there was a camera on them while these guys were working the bag, while they're working the mitts, while they're jumping rope. They look great, right? They get in there. It's not even a fight. They get in there and spar. And they don't look like anything like the guy that you just saw working out or that you've been watching work out for weeks and months, okay? They get tired fast. They don't put their combinations together. They don't move their head. They don't move their feet at all. It's like they're stuck in cement. Why is that? It's all because of their mindset. It's because of the way that you handle it in there. Now, it's a little bit different than the situation with Rose, but hear me out. My point is, it's all about mindset, okay? They're not prepared mentally in the space that you need to be able to just mentally be free and flow and utilize all of your training to be at your absolute 100% potential when you're fighting. Okay? And that's a similar situation to Rose. Now, it's different in the sense that, this is something that it seems like it's almost like something spiritually she's dealing with, right? Like you're talking about life direction, right? If this was a regular person on the street and they were 40 years old, you'd associate it with a midlife crisis. Oh, I don't know what I want to do. I can do this. I can do that, right? So it's different in that regard for Rose, but the theory remains the same, or the main point remains the same, that if she's really doubting, if back when she was doubting it, when she was unsure, when she had this pressure on her, she wasn't in the right space mentally, that when she was in the middle of a fight, she was going to be able to utilize all of her skills and all of her training and bring that to bear on fight night. Okay? And if you slip for 1 second, if you mentally have a 1 second lapse against the best competition in the world, man, you're done, right? That's all it takes, because the margin for error is so slim. The people you're fighting are so beastie, right? But she came back and she took this fight. She took the rematch. I think she's going to be ready. I think she's going to come out. I think she's going to be on fire, man. I think she's going to redeem herself. You've got Andrade coming off that knockout loss that she just caught to Zhang Weili. I don't think it's gonna go well for Jessica Andrade in this fight. I think Rose is going to come out, and I think she's going to be in the right space mentally, and that's so important for a fighter, to be in the right space mentally. And I think that she wants to come out, show that, prove that to herself, to her coaches, her team, everybody else, prove it to the fans, show everybody that she's ready. She can make another run here. She's still young. My guess is she's going to look great. My guess is that she did whatever soul searching she needed to do in this time off, and that she's going to come out and dominate. So fascinated to see it, though. I really am. I'm pulling for her, though, man. I like her, so it's gonna be good to see how this one plays out. But I think she's gonna be ready.